Let's start this video today with a toast. That's right, today is April 7th and it marks 365 days since I last drank alcohol. So let's raise our glasses and toast to clean living and a full year without alcohol. So I thought today would be a good day to make a video about why I gave it up, if I found it to be challenging, and if I think I'll go back. One of the biggest reasons why I decided to give up alcohol was because I felt like I wasn't living true to myself. I saw myself as a certain way, as a certain person with certain habits. And looking on the outside, it didn't feel that I was reflecting how I saw myself. And a lot of that came back to alcohol. I also saw just how much it got in the way of my goals, how it got in the way of my productivity and my clarity, my energy, and my bank account. So the day had come on April 6th of last year that I decided, enough is enough. I've done some detoxes here and there, but I still wasn't living true to myself. It's hard to go through your life and share with people who you believe you are, but then to do something that totally contradicts what you believe in and goes against the values that you hold upon yourself. So the day came and I gave it up. Now, that doesn't mean it was easy. I came from Wisconsin. If you know anything about Wisconsin, they're known for their beer and their cheese. Your downtime usually consisted of alcohol, and I kind of leaned on alcohol as a way to feel comfortable in social settings, as a way to let loose and dance if I wanted to. So it took some perspective changes to change how I viewed alcohol. When I was just starting to give up alcohol, it was challenging. There were moments that inside my mind, it was trying to convince me to have a beer. It's a sunny day. It feels so nice outside. Just grab a beer. You have your music on, you're doing art, and you keep telling yourself how perfect it would be to supplement this with a beer. And something I used that really helped me during those first 3 or 4 weeks was these bio ginger shots. It was cold pressed juices, and it was in a metal can with a tab top, so it was still super satisfying to pop that open on a sunny day, and that's what got me through those first few weeks. Now, after that month, it became a lot easier and I started seeing the benefits of giving it up, and now we're here a year later. Some of the beverages that I'll drink instead of alcohol in these situations when I would have liked to have alcohol is, for starters, sparkling water. I always have some in my fridge, but other than that, fresh pressed juices, lemonades, elixirs, upgraded beverages, I love them so much. I'm making them throughout the day, every day. I feel that they also align with who I believe I am and the goals that I have, my health goals, the vision for my life, I feel is reflected in the beverages that I drink. I find a lot of joy in creating different elixirs, different health tonics, upgraded beverages, adding different supplements that are beneficial for the optimization of my own health. Not only do they align with my goals, but I also feel really good when I drink them. They are more satisfying than any alcoholic drink that I've ever had, and they are good for you. Let's talk a little bit about some of the benefits and some of the challenges that I faced throughout this last year. For starters, the money that I would spend on alcohol can now be spent on other things that are more in alignment with my goals, my values, and who I believe I am. But I also have more clarity, more energy, and I'm not spending my days hungover in bed. Those Saturdays and those Sundays can now be spent outside with my dog, with my cat, doing art, making YouTube videos, working toward my goals, studying. So much time has opened up because I'm not spending my days hungover, and because even if you're not hungover, the following days after you indulge in alcohol can still cause mental fog and it can disrupt your systems. So even if you're not feeling sick that day, you're still physically, mentally, emotionally affected by the alcohol you consumed even 3, 4, 5 days ago. So without this poison that is no longer disrupting my systems, I have this clarity that stacks on each other, because now you're spending this time absorbing more information, experiencing more of life, attending different types of events with different people. And because of that, you're improving on yourself, your mind, your mental clarity, and it gets easier to learn. It gets easier to socialize. At first, it can be challenging, but it gets easier over time. You just have to continue pushing yourself outside of your comfort zones. And then that's when everything starts to fall into place. Things get easier and you start to feel more like yourself, and you feel so good about the events that you pushed yourself outside of your comfort zone to attend, or the people that you went to go meet, because you did it sober and you did it according to your own values and how you see yourself without having to revolve around alcohol. I can go somewhere to have fun in a totally sober state of mind. I would say the biggest challenge for me throughout this time was attending these events and social gatherings where I would have usually liked to have alcohol there to kind of loosen up, get more comfortable outside of my comfort zone, speak to new people, and even dance. Because if you know me and you follow me on my other accounts, I love to dance. I feel it is one of my biggest sources of flow. Since I was a teenager, I felt that there's this golden light that goes through my veins and it kind of moves my body like a puppet. And, you know, when I'm tapped into this flow, there's another energy, there's another source that is channeling through me. But it was difficult for me to let this flow out in social settings without alcohol. I was pretty reliant on alcohol to let this out. And it is still something I'm working on. But for instance, just a few days ago, I went to a percussion group performance. There were a bunch of different groups going on stage, and there were some people having beers, but I just had my bio ginger shot and some sparkling water, and I was up there just dancing my heart out. After each group that came on stage, I gradually let myself get more and more comfortable and let the flow out. By the end of the night, I was full on dancing and having the time of my life. I was so sweaty and I was so happy. And by the time I was walking home, I just couldn't stop thinking of how proud of myself I was. I told myself I would go outside of my comfort zone and dance without anyone there with me, and do this in a sober mindset where I could just let my flow out. And I did it. And every time I can do this, I'll get more and more comfortable to the point where I don't need to work up to letting out the flow. It was far more rewarding than it was anytime I were to dance with alcohol, because I pushed myself outside of my comfort zone. I did something I told myself I wanted to do, and I accomplished it. So, will I go back? Absolutely not. Every day, it is so clear to me the different ways that alcohol has negatively affected my life. I am still seeing more ways as the time goes on, connecting the dots of how directly and indirectly alcohol has affected my life. And at this point, I see absolutely no positive to it. It's a weakness to have to rely on alcohol to have a good time. I am no longer letting this substance control my life and how I let myself be seen in a public setting. I don't need something to be myself. I don't need a substance to be comfortable. I have the ability to let my light shine. I am so excited to continue pushing myself outside of my comfort zones and to not rely on a substance to do so. Overall, I've got to say it's one of the best decisions I've made in my life. When I first gave up alcohol, that's when I started my YouTube channel. The fact that I am continuing making progress with my channel and my brand has to do with the fact that I gave up alcohol. I am telling you straight up, if I went back to alcohol, I probably would not be continuing with my content creation, because it takes energy, it takes weekends, it takes time. And if you're spending your time drinking on your free time, if you are spending downtime and into the week not feeling well, you're hungover, you're lacking mental clarity, you're lacking energy, you're lacking creativity and motivation because of alcohol and the way that it affects so many different systems in terms of your toroidal field and in terms of your organs in your brain. It affects so many different systems, and if you're not feeling well, it's going to be hard to accomplish your goals. So the fact that a year later, I am still working on my channel has a lot to do with not consuming alcohol. I will not be going back. This was a very important decision I made for the betterment of my life. And I feel I align with who I believe I am. I am on my right path. There's always room for improvement. I'm always looking for ways to become the best version of myself. Once I achieve that version, I'm always setting more goals. So yes, there's always room for me to get more comfortable, more confident, and that is something I am really focusing on now. In some of the ways that I'm increasing this confidence and comfortability is learning. The more knowledge I have, the more comfortable I am in social settings. Not only is it really interesting to me to continue learning, like I just want to know the mysteries of life, I want to discover things, I want to make an impact. But learning all of this makes it so much easier to be comfortable in social settings. Some of the other things that I'm focusing on is exercising, and I don't go to the gym. I have many different modes of exercising, from calisthenics to yoga to running to qigong. I mean, there's so many different modes of movement that I incorporate into my routine. So I'm always changing it up. My muscles are always getting targeted in different ways with different types of movement. Sometimes it's high intensity, sometimes it's slow movements. I found that is really beneficial for the optimized functioning of our internal systems, as well as the energies inside of our bodies and clearing those channels. And of course, eating an optimized diet for your body, finding out what the proper diet is for yourself, and not choosing something based off of ethics or based off of something that you read online or what worked for someone else. Taking medical tests to discover what is appropriate for yourself, and then eating according to that optimized diet. It makes a difference. So with learning and exercising and eating healthy, your life will transform and you will no longer need alcohol, and everything gets easier. Moving gets easier, socializing gets easier, being productive, having energy, motivation, it gets easier. With that said, how is your sober journey going? Have you started yet? And I'm curious, if you have, what was it that kind of pushed you over that edge to decide now's the time? Let's get this going. I've been thinking about this for too long. Let me be sober. Thank you so much for joining me today on my 1-year anniversary of no alcohol. I'm so happy we made it this far. I'm so proud of myself. Let's give one more toast to this awesome accomplishment, and I will see you guys in the next one.